Sunshine Lookers, how the heck are you? I thought I'd do two beers live with you. I've got the tasty BierCo Helles Lager, traditional German style lager, Munich style Golden Ale. I like how they use the word style, right? This is our interpretation, but nobody is doing German styles better than Casey BierCo. There's a couple that are doing things as well, Urban Chestnut, Banter, but Casey BierCo, man, they nail the German style. Mellow malt flavors, delicate bitterness, smooth finish from weeks of cold conditioning. Same refreshing character that made German lagers famous. 5.1%, 20 IBUs. Let's pop this one. I got an old glass I'm going to have with you today. Michelob Ales and Lagers. This one's actually from 2005, so it's been around a minute. And they haven't made those Michelob Ales and Lagers for quite some time, and they haven't put the glasses in for even longer than that. But this one, this particular glass was from 2005. My wife recently brought a few things from storage that I hadn't seen in a while, so I'm kind of what the hell? Let's give it a shot. The second beer is going to be the Four Hands Incarnation India Pale Ale. Oh, I do have the day off today. It's strange for the last 5 years, up until about 3-4 months ago, I guess. I had weekends off, but before that, I'd worked retail and never had weekends off. So I kind of enjoyed that position because I had the weekends off. But the truth is that my wife and I, we don't have any kids anymore at home. It doesn't matter what days we do things. And honestly, a Tuesday is almost better to get done than a Friday or a Saturday and a Sunday. Anyways, so it doesn't really matter to us, to be honest with you. Kind of enjoying my new career as it worked as my third act of reinventing myself one more time. I lucked into, I did work hard to get it. I lucked into retail and retail management, but quite frankly, I busted my ass to get where I ended up. Started out, just in a stock room, worked my way up till I got some attention and worked my way up to management with Kenny Shoes, and then I went to work for the Retail Evil Empire for a few years. Worked my way up into a management position there, and I managed for Dollar General for a little bit. Ran my own business for about 8 years, and I was never incredibly successful. I'm not going to lie to you, but I was never, I never really tried to be honest with you. I just wanted to make enough money to pay the bills, spend time with the family. That was the idea, to keep it a one-horse operation, never really grow. But then my son was diagnosed with cancer, so that kind of changed the game. My wife had the job with the guaranteed money, so I kind of cut back on the business until so I could take care of him. And eventually, I had to shut it down. Did something else, kind of did this and that, and whatever for a couple years until I finally got my way into the beer industry. After years of trying, I got a job with sales with Saddlebach Brewing out of Springdale, Arkansas, but my territory was Bentonville, Rogersville, and Eureka Springs. So anyway, it was nice to do that. I really enjoyed it. In fact, I only left because I ended up having 3 surgeries done later in the year. I left so I can get those surgeries done here. And I'm sure Steve would have hired me back, to be honest with you, but just didn't really want to go back to Arkansas. It was time to reinvent myself one more time, so I found myself as the food service coordinator for the school-age services division of the YMCA. And I enjoyed that for the most part, right? It was nice. And for the first 3.5 years, I had management that liked me and trusted me to do my job. And in the last 1.5 years, things just weren't quite the same. I was largely ignored. I was underpaid, underappreciated. Yeah. I didn't get any credit for the things that I did or came up with. Somebody else stole the idea and took credit for it. But I did look into my current situation with Banter Brewing because I did. If I got back into the beer industry, I always thought to be in sales, and I ended up behind the bar, which is something I hadn't done before professionally. My childhood, I'll get into it another time. But anyway, yeah, I hadn't done it professionally, so I thought, I don't know, but I gave it a shot, and it turns out I really enjoy it. So I think sometimes, especially Americans, have a narrow view of what success is. I think success is doing something that makes you happy. So, with that definition, I feel like I'm very successful at this particular time in my life. Here I am, pushing 60, just doing something I just truly enjoy. So, there you go. Anyway, Slancha. Damn, it's just a solid beer. Easy. They used to put on the side of their beers. I just noticed it's not here. The ingredients that are in. And I'm not finding it on this particular can. They've changed that around. They put the description, but they don't give you the exact ingredients. That's interesting. Nevertheless, I mean, they're good. If you ever get a chance to go to KC BierCo, I cannot recommend it highly enough. I had a very enjoyable experience when I was there. I've only been there once, I'll be honest with you, but it was incredibly enjoyable. So, anyways, put that one off to the side. Let's pick up the Incarnation, a Mosaic IPA, Incarnation India Pale Ale from Four Hands Brewing, 7%, St. Louis, Missouri. Jason, how are you, man? Yeah, it was great. Jason, I'm going to post your comment here, buddy. I didn't see it earlier. I had posted it when I first came up. Let me, sometimes I get talking and, oh, mercy. Now, if you're still with me, Jason, let me show you how beautiful this one looks. This is a beautiful IPA, slightly hazy. Because you can't see through it, but it's not as murky as a lot of so-called hazy IPAs are these days. Anyway, I've never been a huge fan of the style, to be honest with you. I don't hate it. I'm not a hater of the style. I honestly just don't believe they're IPAs. I think they're IPAs in name only. They don't drink like an IPA. There's nothing IPA about a hazy, in my opinion. But I believe it's 70. I don't think they used to say on their cans, but it doesn't say on the can, but I believe it's 70, or it used to be anyway. It is at 7%, though. Oh, mercy. So I'm hanging out on my patio today on a Tuesday. I'm off work today. It's the only day of the week that we're closed, so I get Tuesdays off. Typically off Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So, anyways, yeah, it's time to relax. I needed to get to the store. There was a local store that had some meat on sale, so I went out and did that. We had our granddaughter spend the night with us the last couple of nights. Had a couple of nights sleepover with her, and my wife went to take her home, and then stop at another store to get other things. But yeah, so Harder House is a local supermarket that's really good for meat, but they're typically higher on other things. So when we were figuring out everything we needed, my wife said, "Oh, it'll be cheaper for me to get over here." I said, "Okay, well, I'm going to go here and grab the meat because I don't care if it's cheaper. I know it's better quality." That Walmart meat is horrible, man. You can't eat that shit, man. No, they grind their own stuff over there, and they do a Boston mix that's 60% beef, 40% pork, with an 80-20 lean to fat ratio. So I really like that stuff, especially if I'm making a meatloaf or if I'm just grilling. But I've been really craving a cheeseburger, man. Post a comment there, Jason. Been craving a cheeseburger, but I didn't want to buy one out because the last time I bought one out about 3 months ago, it just made me sick. Uh, it was horrible, man. So I want to use that good 80. I was going to do it on the grill here, but it is awful hot today, so I don't know that I will or not. I'm getting it cleaned out, but yeah, I'm not sure if I'll cook it on there today or not. But I do want to just want a nice kind of old school cheeseburger. I did pick up some good white American cheese. My wife was getting the lettuce and tomato. It's not like an onion. I like the stuff on a burger, man. I grew up eating the best burgers there was, though. To be honest with you, gonna barbecue some country style ribs. Oh, I love those, man. Growing up, my dad ran a hot truck. They called them back in the day. Now they call them food trucks, but back then they were functional. They weren't trendy. Now they're overpriced and trendy. Back then they were competitive and functional, right? So they did mostly. Dad had routes. Mostly a lot of construction that was going on in the 70s in California, but there were some industrial parks we did as well. But the burgers we served on that truck were just the best ever. That every time we bought one somewhere else, well, it kind of sucked because Dad's burgers were the best. So, well, I say Dad's burgers, true, his mom did the cooking, but uh, man, the burgers, the food I had growing up, anything that can be put on a flat top, burgers, polars, pastrami. I mean, everything they bought was the best I ever had, ever. The burgers, the pastrami, the Polish sausage. I mean, just everything. They only bought great quality stuff and just cooked it so well that it was just the best, man. So, and I will admit, some of it might be my memory played tricks on me, but that's my memory of growing up. Is just the food on that truck was just the best ever. And some people have this idea that somehow food trucks aren't as sanitary as restaurants. And if you really think that, you've never worked in the restaurant industry or actually been on a hot truck or a food truck. Because in a lot of ways, they're better. They are inspected, and in many areas, even more so than a restaurant. To be honest with you, but yeah, you've got to keep things a little more organized because you have a limited space to work with. So things are clean every minute. I was going to say every day, but the truth is you're cleaning every minute of every day. With barbecue, baked beans, and cornbread. So yeah, my wife had wanted some baked beans. So I am going to do some baked beans with the burgers. But I'm going to cheat a little bit on the beans today. My wife had picked up an air fryer a couple months ago, and I was a little reluctant, but lately I've been really trying a lot of different things in there. The other day, I actually cooked a steak in there that came out perfect. So I'm going to put the beans in there. Putting beans in there? No, I've got the liners, so it's not going to be. I got the liners; it'll be fine. But yeah, I'm going to cook them in there, so I don't have to heat up the house. I want to cook in the oven. Well, I may cook them out on the grill. We're seeing how that goes, to be honest with you. Right now, it's really freaking hot out here. So, I'm not gonna do the cornbread because we're having hamburgers, so we've already got those carbs. But I am gonna do some beans as well. The funny thing is, my wife's medication sometimes dictates what she's able to eat. So I'm always a little leery. The last couple of times I'd fixed beans, didn't work for one reason or another, so I haven't made them for quite a while. But today she specifically asked for them, so when she's in the mood for something, I want to fix it at that moment in time, right? But I will admit, if the cheeseburger was on me, I just been craving just a good cheeseburger. Like I said, I hadn't had one for about 3 months. The last time I picked up at a Wendy's on the way home from work, it was after 9. I get it, it's late. But it was just so god awful. I mean, it didn't taste great. And then, about 3, 4 in the morning, I got up just having some serious belly issues. So I haven't bought any fast food since then. I eat burgers anyway. I ordered chicken once about a week ago, but that was from Pizza Ranch. I'm not labeling them fast food, but anyway, yeah, it was so god awful. But I've been just craving a cheeseburger. I think now I can't buy one out that's going to satisfy what I want. What I want is something very similar to I had growing up. On that hot truck with my mom and dad. I tell you what I used to do is I used to take what I wasn't quite stealing. I'd usually let them know what I was. But I would take some food from the truck, sometimes a burger, sometimes a Polish sausage, sometimes pastrami, kind of depending on what I was in the mood for. And I put it in the house, but I wouldn't tell them I was coming home for lunch. Because you're not supposed to come home for lunch in elementary school. But when the lunch bell would ring, I would run my ass out the door because I could get home in 5 minutes. I get my food cooked and 8:20, and then back to school in another 5. Because we live really close to elementary school. So I'd run home, make myself a burger, get back, make myself a Polish sausage, get back. Because I didn't want that sandwich they made me, because it sucked, and school cafeteria foods sucked. And I knew the quality of food that mom and dad were carrying on that drug. I'd run home, and I was a bad influence. A friend figured out what I was doing, so he sort of blackmailed me to take him home. He said, or take him with me, right? So I said, he basically said, "I'll tell on you if you don't let me go to your house, and then you come to my house." So we did that one day. He came to my house. I made him a hamburger or cheeseburger. He thought it was great. And then the next day we went to his house and had some beefy mac out of a can that wasn't so great, but it was still better than school food. Oh, see, that's brilliant. That's a great idea, man. I've done that as well. I'm going to post your comment there. He said, with the leftover country ribs, I'll make white meat chili. So I've done that with leftover chicken as well. When I've done leg quarters or chicken thighs on the grill, yeah, I've used leftovers to make a white bean chili. Yeah. But with the country ribs, that sounds brilliant. That's a great idea. I don't know what you're adding to it, but for me, I would slow cook it with some poblanos. You don't want quite that much flavor using Anaheim, but I would definitely cook it down with some poblanos or even some tomatillos to go really full verde. But use cumin instead of chili powder. Yeah, I mean, I changed this. I definitely use cumin even with chili powder. We're making a red chili, but you change that spice palette up a little bit. But yeah, when I do a white bean, I always slow cook some poblanos down to get that flavor. It gives you all the pepper flavor without the heat. Or I go full verde and add some tomatillos, roast some tomatillos or put them on the grill as well, and then cook them down with everything else. Mercy. Anyways, I've talked for a long time, man. I better I better wrap this one up. I am Tom the Beer Whisperer, beer fan. Hey, thanks, Jason, for tuning in. I am reading my shirt here. My daughter, I've been very proud of this shirt. I know. My daughter made this for me. It just sometimes people just get you. My daughter's amazing. Anyways, it says I am the beer whisperer, beer evangelist, prolific beer drinker, purveyor of wisdom, and all around good guy. Sláinte. Ah, Sláinte.